I'm a survey.
You're not a Mexican, you lying sack.
Great. No, and then he came out with it was my first craft beer was Lost Coast Tangerine. And I loved it, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go in with you next time. I'll leave before you buy it, but I want to pick things out because this is pretty cool. I didn't know beer could taste like this.
I like how the cool neighbor buys he's the cool neighbor because he buys beer for underage teenage girls.
No, he's like a year older than me, I think.
Oh.
No, not old. Hopefully he's watching this. And
Not yet, anyway.
No, and then I just ended up like looking more into it, like how do I make it, and when did this start, and why have I never heard of these styles before? I've only ever heard of Bud Light and Coors Light and whatever my parents drank, or Modelo and stuff like that.
Love Modelo. Chelada, man. Modelo Chelada.
So
it'll rock your world.
So good.
The blonde.
Morning. Is that bad?
No, that's good.
But since then, she has done a lot of education stuff for herself.
Yeah.
Tell me about CPP.
I went to Cal Poly Pomona. They actually have this thing called Innovation Brew Works. And the people that run it are amazing. They're super helpful, super just, they're just great educators. And I took a multicultural history class there about just craft beer and different breweries and breweries around the world. And then I did one that was all-grain brewing course. And I had never brewed in my life.
Wow.
Most people start with like extracts at home, and I was like, I'm going to take the class because I don't want to buy all this stuff and not know what I'm doing. And so I took the class, and we actually brewed a beer. We all got to pick one that we wanted to do, and I brewed a pale ale.
Oh, you made a pale ale for your first time out. How was it?
It was actually very good. I was really proud. But then again, that was like they have a brewery on campus, and they're there helping you, and it's all grain, so it tastes way better. And the next time I had brewed, I did an IPA, and it was extract. It was at my friend's house because I was like, I want to know how to do both, all grain and extract. And it was not that great. It was not great at all, but it was just nice to like learn all about it and stuff. So
what do you think about the classic beers? Like me growing up, and Jeff knows too because he was there with me. Schaefer.
Make sure we get in the picture board, Blonde.
Oh my God, Schaefer's Lucky Lager. Oh, we should have started that a half hour ago.
With those little puzzles on the caps.
Yeah, they're puzzles
Get
on
in there, Destiny.
That's what made it fun when we used to go to the tree and drink.
Wait. Oh,
yeah. Now, Destiny, how do you do the percentage? You say, okay, I'm going to make this one a 6.5 or a 7.0. How do you?
So there's a thing called starting gravity and original gravity, I think it is, and final gravity, which is actually it's like a weird device that looks like not a telescope. What are those things? Like a kaleidoscope. It looks like a kaleidoscope.
Good girl. Wow.
And you like drop the beer in there, and then you look up into it, and it tells you like, oh, this is what it is in Play-Doh, and then you have to like transfer like it from being in Play-Doh to just normal numbers that I know how to understand.
Wow. I'm really impressed you were taking notes. That shows the degree of commitment that you were taking notes. You were at their establishment and you were taking notes in the beer. What were you notching? Tell us.
I was with my friend at the time, and she wasn't too into beer at the time, and I wanted to just talk all about it and be like, this one's hoppy and floral, and this one's this and that. And
you were writing a review of each beer you drank? Wow.
Them. They were good. They were great.
So I just went live on our Instagram if anybody's interested in following or joining in, and someone just asked us what our favorite IE brewery is.
Oh, that's a good question.
Wow, there's so many. There's so many good ones out there.
Yeah, Jeff, do you have a favorite IE brewery?
Yeah.
We'd have to go with Pacific Wine Merchants. Atta girl.
No. That's where you could taste everybody's. They have, the tap takeover. My favorite, where I get to see Lars.
1 minute to come. Oh, we have a call.
I get my friend Lars to, I watch him brew. I watch through the window over at Rock House.
Yeah, I like Rock House.
I like Rock House.
I like the double hammer.
Sage likes Rowdies. Destiny?
Mine's a tie between Sour Cellars and Homage.
Oh, that's
Homage is amazing.
I feel like you
them.
just are cooler when you leave Homage.
Whoa,
I like Rock House.
We have a phone call, Julia.
Julia's mom
I wonder who it is.
Julia's mom is finally up. Yeah, your father and I were wondering about this Switch thing. We thought it was a phase.
Hold on. Hello.
You guys are way too much energy for the morning.
Oh my gosh! Uh-oh! we're not in trouble, are we?
Hi, Mom.
No.
Are we
I just
waking
wanted
up
to
the
say how much
sleeping? Are we waking
Yeah,
up
I
the
have so much fun at that Brew Witches stuff. It's like so much fun.
Hi, Mommy.
Oh.
Hi, you guys.
Hi, Kathleen.
So, Julia, does it bother you that your daughter and her friends are in league with the Prince of Darkness?
Hey, I didn't meet a prince there. I wouldn't recognize him.
So, Mom,
Well-
they were asking me when I started getting into beer, and I said in the womb. Can you corroborate my story?
Well, all I know is I was in England, and that's all they had to drink.
Wow.
Wow, that's amazing.
Hey, even though Julia was born with fetal alcohol syndrome, we don't judge.
Hey, I have a high IQ, sir. I'm doing just fine.
Very high IQ.
Wow.
College graduate in spite of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mom, tell that story about how they served you in England. That's a good one.
Oh yeah. This is back in the day, mind you. So they brought me a half pint, and I'm like, half pint? I'd like a pint. And they're like, well, we only serve half pints to women. I said, I'm sorry, I'm an American. I want like 5.
That's a true story, guys.
Wow.
Sexism
Yeah.
in the 80s in England. Beer-related
Yeah.
sexism.
That's when the waiter went back up and he said, the blonde over there is requesting a pint. She's in labor. Her water broke about 10 minutes ago.
I remember
You
that.
couldn't tell. You couldn't even tell I was pregnant, so it wasn't even a thing.
They said, well, your water broke all of your Frankie Says Relax t-shirt.
When I
Your
was
mom's
in,
labor was so hard she dropped her Rubik's Cube.
when I was in London, I remember that. I instead of a glass of beer, they go, "Yo, you want a pint?" I was new to this, you know. And,
Yeah.
I'll get you a pint of vinegar and salt, which meant vinegar and salt chips.
Right,
And
right.
To have with your pint, and of course, me being a male, I had a pint.
Yeah, they hooked you up. No questions asked.
Yeah. I think they were a little concerned after like my third, but then we were like all singing karaoke songs and little Beach Boys, and they didn't care by then.
You were singing Kokomo after Julia had fallen out onto the
Kokomo,
bar
yeah.
floor.
Exactly.
Eventually, they got you a kid cutting knife to cut the umbilical cord.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been to England. Have you, sir?
Yes, I have. Not only that, hold on. Your daughter just rudely questioned my English heritage. I will have you know, lovely ladies, I've written for 3 different magazines in England, 1 out of Putney, 2 out of Yorkshire, and if you go to a little establishment we in America like to call Barnes & Noble, you will see my cover story on the brand new Infinity magazine out of London itself.
Wow.
I've been everywhere but Stonehenge. I was too cheap to spring for half a day's
I
trip.
went to Stonehenge. It was awesome.
Did
Down
you?
in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
So Julia comes by her pagan witchery honestly.
No, we're into Jesus, I swear. Jesus is my homeboy.
Your mother.
I am.
Your mother.
Sacrifices, man.
Yeah, that's what happened to the 4th member of the group.
You know what?
Supposedly-
I think the Brew Witches should put a little vacation money travel with some of the profits and do a field trip.
Yeah, go to England.
Definitely talked about it
Our
before.
first field trip was a party bus out to Redlands, and we
Oh,
went.
wow, party bus out to Redlands.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Too cheap for Vegas, are we?
What's going on right now?
You can get
What's
there in no
great?
time.
The girls are saving up for a party bus to Victorville. they want
Sad man. Who invited this guy?
they want to try meth.
Hey, we took a party bus down to San Diego. You think it's all just wine? Not San Diego, but was it San Diego?
Temecula.
Yeah, Temecula.
Oh.
And there were a lot of breweries down there. It was very cool.
You were too cheap to go to all the way to San Diego, Comic-Con and all that? Tell me you guys have been to Comic-Con. Yes! I
would
knew
love to go to
Sage's cool.
Comic-Con.
So we're
I'm
doing
so
Comic-Con with you
crazy.
guys, Magic
Yes.
Castle with him.
Hell
right? Is
yeah,
that what's
Magic
happening?
Castle and Dan, do Comic-Con with us.
All right.
The point is, if you do Comic-Con right, you will never buy a drink all weekend.
Sure.
You hop from party to party to party. I used to go to Comic-Con for comics. What the hell was I thinking?
That's the thing about Temecula, though. Everybody thinks it's just wine. And-
By the way,
and-
Julia's
Yeah,
mom.
yeah, and
What's
it's
your
not.
name?
They had a lot of nice breweries
Kathleen.
out there.
Kathleen, a good Irish name, woman.
Yeah, Kathleen Ann Party was my maiden name.
Wow, you are an Irish
Yeah.
girl. Interesting. So these girls went to Redlands. What were you looking at in Redlands, ladies? Were you looking at the classic Linda Blair horror movie Hell Night was shot in Redlands?
good to know. Never heard of it.
Oh, boo. And what about
Me neither.
Rules of Attraction? Rules of Attraction.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
That up.
That was shot in Redlands too. When you see the guy, when you see the girl swallow her own vomit in the first 5 minutes
Oh,
backwards.
Oh, God.
We don't say vomit before 10 a.m.
Vomit.
That's right. When Jeff calls it, could someone help me clean up my things?
Patrick could name all these crazy films that were filmed in Redlands, but Redlands also has a very great restaurants there. Joe Greensleeves is one.
University of Redlands is where they used to hold the Junior Excellence in Journalism Awards, because when I wrote for my high school paper, we would go to the Redlands University where they had a real clock tower, not a fake one like in Rancho Cucamonga's Chaffey College. And you know what the creators, the
Don't
Charles...
make fun of Chaffey College.
Yes, sir.
Harvard on the Hill.
Harvard on the Hill. We used to call it UCL. Your godfather would come to town, and my parents would be so embarrassed because they had a kid. My sister's going to UCR, and I'm going to Chaffey, hanging out. You know, it was the 80s. And it used to
I
be...
like Chaffey.
Exactly. You used to call it UCLH, Upper Cucamonga, Lefton Haven.
Yeah, it was the 13th grade.
Yeah, 13th grade. It was high school with ashtrays.
Hey, doesn't Destiny work at a brewery out in Redlands?
Destiny, do you work at a brewery in Redlands?
I do. I work at Hangar 24. So
Yeah, there you
if
go.
Cook is listening. Hi.
Oh. Tell your daughter to stop
We're
texting.
hanging out with these crazy people.
That's by the old airport, close to Mentone, I think.
It actually is still still has people that have their planes there and everything. They're always taking off. It's really cool. Our brewery is actually in an old hangar that was shipped over from Riverside, and I think
From Riverside Airport?
Yeah, they
Which is where they shot
brought it
Godzilla in
over.
Congo.
No way.
Yeah, both shot at the Riverside
No.
Airport.
Is this walking IMDb?
Oh,
Yes,
I
that's
think
the
Jeff is
walking
making up stuff again.
IMDb.
No way. Look it up, woman. I'm telling you nothing but the truth.
Woman!
So,
I never.
well, no. I said it like this. WOMYN. I'm cool. I'm hip. I'm woke.
This is the first time on the Jeff Sargent show that we have anything to do with brewing.
Brewing is not even a word.
Brewing. This is our first beer show, our first brewery craft beer show.
We're into it. We're glad to rep. We're ready.
We got the Brewwitches. If you're joining us in progress, we got the Brewwitches, and one of the Brewwitches' adorable moms on the air with us right now.
And this usually, you know how our show is, our program. It's usually showbiz, but this was unique. We also like doing people that are right here in town.
Well, of
Doing
course,
something awesome.
Yeah, Jeff likes doing people right here in town. It saves the drive to Los Angeles.
Which we all know is horrible.
Thank you, Kathleen. I wear your scorn like a badge of armor.
That's awful. I want to kill people by the time I get there.
Yeah, for those of you just tuning in, my name's Julia.
I'm Destiny. My name's Sage.
And we are the co-founders of the Inland Empire chapter of the Brewwitches. We're a local nonprofit that work with local breweries and women and create a community to hang out and learn about beer and make new friends. So if anybody's interested in finding out more information, our Instagram is probably our most popular. Our handle is @IEBrewwitches. And we also have a Facebook page, IE Brewwitches, and that is less popular, but still cool. And you can find out you can find out more information on there. And if you're interested in coming to a meetup, we're having one tonight. It's free to show up, open to the public. We drink beer and make friends. It's going to be at Laverne Brewing Company at 7 p.m.
Let's get the address of the Laverne Brewing Company in there.
Okay, let me just Google it in my brain.
Boy, Kathleen.
Good morning.
Boy, Kathleen. Julia, the sense of entitlement, she's either an only child or the baby.
There's an airport nearby.
I'm the eldest and the coolest of
Wow.
my siblings. So.
Kathleen,
is she the eldest and the coolest? She claims to be the coolest one of your children, and she claims she just slid us a piece of paper saying, I'm her favorite.
Those are all true, right, Mom?
I do love her.
Those are pretty much facts, right,
Mom's non-committal on the favorite thing.
Kathleen,
My favorite daughter for sure.
she had no idea that we were going to be on camera. She showed up in her jammy pants.
That's adorable.
I saw her leaving the house in those jammies. I was cracking up.
I wore the ones you got me for Christmas.
Wow.
She looks good in our 7-Eleven
Security cam. That's what it looks like from all angles.
We saw a cute blonde running around the.
Starbucks on her way too, and got some caffeine.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw the cute blonde in the pajamas.
You gotta have some caffeine if you're hanging out with the Sarge.
I almost wore my Batman jammy pants this morning.
I love those.
When we saw the cute blonde in pajama pants, I thought, well, there go the homeless stealing our cans again.
Hey, Sarge, last time I saw you, you were wearing lederhosen.
Oh, that's right. You mean I haven't seen you since Halloween?
I don't think I've seen you since Halloween.
Well, it's been way too much time.
Well, I'm trying to lose weight because I gained a lot of weight during that whole holiday season. So I'm trying to be good.
Well, we can take walks up. We can
By
walk
the way,
off up Euclid.
We didn't tell Julia, Destiny, or Sage we're going to do this, but meet your real father.
Oh, no. Don't give it away. Don't give it away.
Not on your life swears, Kathleen.
This is way too early for all this. Gee whiz. Simmer down.
Oh, wow. This is amazing. So when did you know you were carrying a brew witch? Stop checking your watch, Sage. How dare you? You're like Julia texting out of boredom.
No, I texted my mom to call into the show.
You mean she wasn't tuned in already?
She needed the number. She said she needed the number.
Oh, did you look on Facebook, Kathleen? All you had to do is look on Facebook. Look at the Jeff Sargent Show logo. The phone number's right there.
I didn't see
I know it's early. I know it's
Don't
early.
lie, Kathleen. It's too early for lying.
She's hanging out with Pippa, our dog, our famous dog, Pippa.
Wow.
Good morning, Pippa.
Pippa is the name of the dog the shark eats in the original Jaws.
Oh my God, this guy.
It's true.
Is that
I
really?
didn't know all that stuff.
In fact, if you go to
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
if you go to Martha's
You
Vineyard,
should have been on our Trivia Pursuit team for sure.
I know, you should be on our trivia team.
if you go to Martha's Vineyard, the dog who got eaten during the movie lived to a ripe old age of I think 15. You go. It's one of the things on the tour when you're on the island. Instead of looking for Carly Simon, you look for the grave of the dog from the original Jaws. And it was Pippa, and it says, our movie star dog Pippa. And it's
It kind of makes me sad. Pippa, you're okay, right? Everything's fine, Pippa? Pippa, can you hear me?
Kathleen, she wants assurance that Pippa is still with us.
Patrick, you need to go on Jeopardy because you know way too much. I mean,
yeah, you just might come home with a prize, and
I have Inland Empire pride, you guys. I eat pride. I mean, the fact that these girls are named, we've never mentioned Redlands this much on the show before.
Kathleen,
Upland has some good breweries too. They got a couple of new ones too. Downtown Upland.
Oh yeah, I mean Jeff introduced me to.
That's right, the rescue one where you can adopt dogs and pets, right?
The one where you can
It's
adopt
dog
pets.
friendly.
I really like that one.
It's called Rescue Brewing, and they donate a percentage of all their proceeds to like local firefighters and policemen and the animal shelters. So they're pretty cool. We met the owners, and it's also partially women owned. And she's a badass. I was gonna say, can I say ass on radio?
You can say badass.
Okay, I was gonna say a BA.
I know you were. It sounded you were to say biatch.
Yeah, she's really cool. We got to meet them, and they were really hospitable.
You can drink with your. Hold on, but you can drink with your dog.
Yes, it's dog friendly.
Oh yeah.
They have a bulletin board where you can adopt a dog with their pictures.
I have a Chihuahua. They will not scorn me for bringing my Chihuahua. My dog hates
bring
Jeff.
your dog. You know what?
Scary.
Your
Little
dog
ankle
needs to
biters.
get out and have a good time.
I'm going to
Listen to
drink
good
with my
music.
Chihuahua.
My mom, I can neither confirm nor deny that my mother called Chihuahuas ankle biters. And
Kathleen,
Piranha dog.
talking smack about my dog.
He used to have a Scottish Terrier.
I had a Scottish terrorist, and I miss it very much. But this is my first female dog since I was like a teenager. I grew up with Irish setters. Then I got the Scotty. He was a boy dog. But now that there's nothing like a female. I mean, the Chihuahua is my first female dog since the Irish setters. It's my first small dog. She's smaller than a Scotty, but they're great dogs, and it's a rescue, by the way.
good for you.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that, Jeff.
Do people, Patrick? Do people look at you funny because you're like this?
Big
You
giant
Yeah.
guy. Big
I would
foot.
hide. I would
And you
hide
walk
and
with
wait till the
this little
teenagers stop playing
smile.
basketball before I could walk my dog. Because it's a female dog, I was given a pink leash to walk her with, so I have to wait till it's dark and nobody's. It's like the thing in Marvel Comics. I put on a slouch hat and an overcoat. Please don't laugh at me and my dog.
Kathleen,
Well, I took Pippa down to downtown to the wine merchant down
Yes.
there.
Whoa,
That's a big
Kathleen.
exercise.
Julia's crying. All she heard was you say, "I put Pippa down."
No.
Oh, thank
I
God.
I walked her down to this exercise. You
Oh, yeah.
walk down from J.D. Allison's and you walk down to Wine Merch. You have a beer.
Oh,
And then
good
you
girl.
walk back
That's our
up.
sponsor.
Yeah, and then you have another beer. It's like you're exercising and beering.
that's true. Pippa is a local at our sponsors, Pacific Wine Merchants
Wow.
and Cigar Exchange.
Yeah.
Pippa
Yeah.
is the most
Yeah.
popular dog there.
I would like to
Yeah,
think
people
so.
know Pippa's name. They don't know my
She
name.
always is.
Yeah,
And
they
I like the fact that Pippa dresses for the holidays too. Every time, always
Yeah.
festive, wearing a hat, a sweater,
She's
a
into
collar,
fashion.
always
She's
representing.
fashion.
Oh, at the German festival, she was a hot dog.
Oh.
Bratwurst mom. She was a
Turned
bratwurst.
out
Bratwurst.
Bratwurst.
Yeah,
Right here?
they have a little doorway at Pacific Wine Merchant, and they have notches on it with people's names about their height, so it'll be like Julia here, blah blah blah. I'm sure you guys are on there.
Oh,
with it,
yeah.
I don't know if you looked down at the bottom, but Pippa's on there too.
Oh, that's so adorable.
That is so damn cute. I demand you bring Pippa to one of your Brew Witch events.
She's been
Oh,
once.
we went to the one. Where was that, Julia? That we went to?
Oh, when we had the fundraising event at King's Brewing.
Yeah, and we took
Tell
her
us-
a
Where's that
whole table of glassware.
Yeah, so my mom's standing there with Pippa on the leash, and she's ordering a beer. And at the time, they had like a barrel with all this glassware on display. And
Oh,
of
no.
course, and there's like 200 people there for us for our event, and everybody knows Pippa and my mom are like part of my posse. And Pippa like runs to go say hi to somebody, and the leash swipes out the whole display of glassware.
Wow.
It's like the loudest kerching, and
I was-
everybody went
yeah.
silent. It was like
I was standing right there, and people were like, "Destiny," and I was like, "I will take the blame for that. Don't blame Pippa."
Oh. They
Thank
said,
you, Destiny.
That's
You
classic.
gave me a death look, man. I got a death look for that.
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
the manager said, since you're already witches, you should know your way with a broom.
Start sweeping.
Yeah.
But I forgot about that event. That was one of our earliest
was an
ones, and we
awesome
got
event.
a lot of donations
That was
from
the
local
biggest.
breweries like
Including Pacific Wine Merchants.
Pacific Wine
Yay!
Merchants.
Bravo.
We had to hunt Mark down, but he definitely hooked us up with a cool basket, and we got stuff from tons of breweries in the area. And we did a raffle, and we had food donated by California Pizza Kitchen in Rancho Cucamonga, and
They're good.
And our
That's a good
members brought a
restaurant.
bunch of stuff.
Jimmy
Not
John's.
as good as
Was it
Jamal's.
Jimmy John's?
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey
on,
Mike's?
on
Oh, I
Mountain,
love them.
on Mountain and 7th, they brought us a cool, a bunch of food, and we raised a ton of money for them. I don't. Jeremiah's
2,000.
family his daughter was facing cancer at the time, so we raised some money for her.
Darlene, her name is. And she
Darlene.
actually just rang the bell at St. Jude's, I want to say like 3 weeks ago. It was awesome to see. I've been keeping up with their family's posts, and they're the sweetest
Wow.
people. And
Yeah, if anybody's
yeah.
interested in like finding out more information or maybe finding a way to help them, you guys can totally find it on their Facebook or Instagram. King's Brewing.
Hashtag Team Darlene.
Team
Hashtag
Darlene.
We're all about.
Hang in
She's
there,
a
darling.
little Sweetheart.
Yeah, she's adorable. So
People not just like drinking beer and partying; they're also helping people.
I know
Drinking for
that's
a cause.
that's
Yeah.
what
It's
drinking.
great.
for-
January
Helping people
27th.
and having a good time with it. You know?
yeah.
What kind of dog is Pippa, by the way?
She's
She's a mix.
she's a mix. Yeah, we found out that she's part wolf, which is totally badass. And but she looks like a tall lab because she has great
Giant
Pyrenees in her, and she's like really
Kind of-
white blonde,
Like an old Disney, like an old Yeller kind of dog.
Uh-oh.
but cuter.
Cuter, with more
Cuter.
personality.
Yeah.
Smiles a lot.
Have you
She does
seen
like
it?
beer too. You got to be careful around her with your beer.
She drinks a lot of beer. I always say that I can only afford for one of us to be an alcoholic. So.
I was reading something on Facebook the other day, and apparently they have started making like a beer for dogs and cats, so your pet can have a beer with you.
It's
And
non-alcoholic.
totally
It's
chill.
non-alcoholic.
Well,
They get
Pippa
all
needs to
lit.
cut the edge off.
Yeah, take
Oh,
the
it's
edge
not
off.
alcoholic, so we can give it to Dan.
O'Doul's for dogs.
Oh, Jules for Dan.
Oh, dogs.
Oh, dogs and oh, Dan's.
I would still buy that.
No, my case manager said I cannot drink O'Doul's. I
You can't drink O'Doul's?
Well, it
Because
has alcohol
in it.
1%
Yeah, it has alcohol
It has
in it.
just a tiny bit of alcohol. I can't have it.
At
I
that point,
can't even. I can't even go and get beef in Burgundy someplace. So
Really?
Yeah, Dan,
even
it's
though
like
the alcohol cooks down, but it's still in there, so I can't do anything.
Wow.
he'll die. He can't have beer battered fish or nothing because he'll.
You can't have beer butter.
It's like we said this
No, I
yesterday. It's
can't.
like giving a dog chocolate.
Yeah. You know, that made me so sad when we had a Long John Silver's over on Central.
I
And-
just noticed that.
Isn't that
Oh
terrible?
my God, that was
You
an
know what?
iconic landmark.
And it was
I know. 8 Salt Fish and Chip on Mountain and near Euclid is
Yeah,
closed
that's
too.
closed
I'm freaked
too.
out.
Which one, Mom? What is it?
yeah, you know what? You
Salt
know,
Fish and Chip?
Kathleen, they used to have that. They had H salt fish and chips. That was an Asian couple, and they would close at like 7 o'clock every night. So I don't miss them a
7
bit.
o'clock. Wink,
You know,
wink.
7 o'clock, smartass.
You said it.
How dare you.
IMDb.
That's it. I'm giving Pippa a real beer next time I see the dog.
You should. She would like that a lot.
But,
No, wait, I didn't hear you, Mom. You said Long John Silver's closed and what else closed?
H salt
Oh, yeah,
fish and
8
chips.
Salt Fish and Chips
Oh,
over on
salt.
Foothill. I was very sad because every once in a while you gotta have some fried bad thing. You know?
Exactly. You can wash the beer down with the fish and chips. And now, but did you see the bright side? They may be gone, but now we're getting a Ross's dress for less in the same lot.
Yeah, right.
Well, hopefully they'll do something with that center. It's been empty for a long time.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I think there are. I think there's a plan to do something in there.
Yeah,
I
they
assure
finally
you-
gutted it and gave it a whole new.
They should
facelift.
nuke that thing.
Condos. Let's put condos up.
Yeah,
More
yeah.
condos.
On Foothill?
Uh,
Can't have condos on Foothill.
You get a condo. You get a condo.
Thanks, Oprah. You know, my
from the
sister,
low 400s. Oh my God, are you kidding me?
that strip mall has always been dead. There used to be a place called Cornet in there. It used to be a sporting goods store.
Chicks.
Yeah.
My sister used to work there when it was a Straw Hat Pizza like 100 years ago.
Wow.
You know?
Where
and
the
it-
Laser Island is now.
Laser
Right
Tag
there.
Island,
Laser
very
Island,
good, yeah.
By the way, thumbs down to Laser Island. I dated a guy whose best friend owns that place, so screw them.
Oh, screw that.
My coworker.
You know what?
Do
not go to Laser Island, folks.
Hey, Julia, the last time I went there was with Greg. Greg took his boys there for a birthday party, and
How did he look in the Laser Island clothes?
It
He calls
ridiculous. It
you
was
have to wear like a
disappointing.
vest.
Jeff and Greg called their boys
Did
their
they
penis
put-
and
did they
testicles.
put-
Easily
Center
entertained,
vest.
but I thought it was a ripoff.
There you go.
Yeah.
See? Jeffrey Sargent and I say, thumbs down.
Yeah.
Thumbs down as an easily
wish I had more hands.
entertained person.
Julia and Jeff dated the same guy who worked at Laser Island. So they give a thumbs
We're
down.
very upset. We're very upset.
They also want their college jackets back.
Yeah, I took my nephews there. I had to watch them one weekend, and so for the day, I'm like, "We'll go to Laser Island." So I'm like, "Let's go," and I let them in, and then I'm like, "Cool, I could just relax for a little while."
Yeah,
But
I guess they're all
minutes
right.
later, they're like, "Okay, let's go home, Dan."
By the way, why do your nephews call you Dan? You don't get Uncle Dan?
Uncle Dan.
It's hard to get kids to say uncle and aunt nowadays. I pretend I make them. I'm like,
Yeah,
don't
I do
forget,
too. Yeah,
I-
exactly.
You know, and then but the parents are the ones who have to reinforce it.
Yeah.
My mom always made me say that when I
Yeah.
still
Oh,
call
yeah,
my
you
aunt
say
uncle
that.
and Aunt
My
Lisa.
godfather's not related. They call him Uncle Chet. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean,
It's like a respect thing.
My nephew calls me auntie.
There you go, living the
that-
dream.
Yeah.
by the way, there you go. And the thing is, she goes, "What's the difference between Pat and Uncle Pat?" I said, "Pat's your pal. Uncle Pat has to give you Christmas gifts."
Yeah, really.
So
I'd go by Pat then.
yeah, you know, if she called me Pat. She's guess what your Christmas gift is? 0. I'm just a friend.
Yeah, I have a couple alter egos. My nieces call me Juju,
Oh,
and then my drunk friends call me JoJo.
it's interesting because Juju is a black magic term. I used to have a cat named Juju.
No,
Yeah.
Juju bees. Stop it. I love you, Jesus.
Jujubee, that's the candy you give to your enemies that breaks their teeth and it makes them stick together.
Hold on, I'm going to
Tears
test
your
your
caps off.
I'm going to test your pagan witch daughter. What's your confirmation name again?
No, Jesus. And I love Jesus.
There we go.
Yeah, Juju sounds a little racist.
Yeah.
You guys have bad minds.
Well, Juju, I had the cat's name was Jeux, Jeeux, which was like Gree, and it was also French for freak freak.
Yeah, that's not the same as what I'm saying.
That was a rescue cat. Don't get a rescue cat. They always break your
No
heart.
more coffee for Patrick in the morning.
Yeah.
How dare
I'm
you?
gonna cut him off.
Actually, speaking of Laser Tag Island, to deliver the death blow to Laser Tag Island
I know,
for
they're getting
breaking
too
both
much
Jeff and
airtime.
Julia's hearts. What happened is the death of Laser Tag on its first run came out of Rancho Cucamonga. Did you know this?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, 30 years ago, 20-year-old Leonard Feather and his friends were playing laser tag at a local elementary school in Rancho Cucamonga.
It's right off of Burl, I believe.
Right up Burl. There's a giant
And
fence at the
Church.
elementary school at Burl and Church. There's an elementary school there, and it now
That's
has.
where that is. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a 9-foot fence there now, and the reason that is this 20-year-old Chaffey College student named Leonard Feather, and his friends were playing laser tag. Somebody called the Rancho Cucamonga PD, and when they had their flashlight and they're looking around to see if there was trespassers, he popped up with his laser tag gun, pointed it at a cop, and got shot twice.
No.
Because the cop didn't know. The cop's reacting to a prowler call. So after that, at the time when it had been like $100 million a year laser tag industry, overnight died. I think it happened in October '87. Overnight, they had the Laser Tag Academy cartoon. They had an entire franchise industry that went literally canceled overnight.
Did the guy die?
Oh yeah, he was shot twice in the chest.
Larry Feather or something?
Yeah, Leonard Feather. Yeah, and
Crazy.
and after that, when that happened, it took about 20 years for laser tag to come back because overnight on a national level, all these parents were listening. It was a national story because they're watching in horror. Kid popped up pointing the laser tag gun at a cop, and then the police officer didn't know. And it's standard issue when you have that sort of thing, you put 2 rounds and whoever's pointing a gun at you. So overnight, thanks to this one incident in Rancho Cucamonga, it killed. So
Right. You're substantiating my fears of laser tag, honestly. I get super anxiety playing that game. Like, I know I'm not going to actually die, but I just feel like it's like the pressure, like I'm going to be killed. Like, it just gives me, like, I really can't play. It freaks me out. Like, I'll be like behind the wall,
I'm
sweating
just too
bullets. Like,
competitive.
don't shoot
So,
me.
I've never played
If
this
Laser,
island.
if,
It's horrible.
if Laser
It's
Island wants to sponsor my show, I should reject it. I should turn it
You're
down.
getting way too much airtime. Let's just move it along.
We got free tickets, Julia. Let's go
Nobody-
play
Wow.
laser tag.
nobody mistreats our favorite blonde.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our favorite non-blonde,
Oh.
non-beer, I should say.
We'll just play Nerf.
Have you guys
No.
ever played paintball?
Yes, I just
Let's
finished
change the
making.
subject
No,
to
wow.
paintball.
I made.
Your daughter is the master of the cold
just-
stare.
I just designed and created my own Skullhead Black Ops paintball helmet.
Yeah, do your listeners know all the cool fabrications you do and stuff?
So once in a while it comes up.
Yeah, he's a really great artist, guys. I don't know if you have a chance to check out his Facebook page, but he makes a lot of really interesting stuff.
Yeah, didn't you work on some of the floats for the Rose Bowl, Jeffrey?
Did I show you the float that burned up?
No way.
No.
Did you see the float? It was the agricultural one with the
On New Year's Day?
yeah from the
The Rose Parade?
yeah. It was the agricultural one with the combine tractors like plowing a field. There was like 2 of them put together, really long.
Was it you, Jeff? Were you smoking too close to the
No,
float?
it was a welder. It was a welder. I got in trouble for live streaming when it burned up.
No way.
I'm going to show you, Julia. I'm going to show you
Can
that.
I also see?
that
Used to go every
No,
year
guys.
growing
That's
up.
Julia.
I grabbed the hose and I went to go put it out, and it went up like napalm. I mean, styrofoam just goes up. It just turns into napalm, black smoke, and right there in Azusa. A few seconds later, the news helicopter was circling around.
Jeff is trying to. Jeff is explaining to all 3 lovely ladies how he lost his job at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, they said, oh, we don't need you today.
Or ever. This is what we call in the biz the golden toe.
Did you hear about the Macy's Day Parade?
No, what happened to the Macy's Day Parade?
You know how they had the big inflated Snoopy and
Oh, yeah, when it knocked all the kids off the balcony.
yeah,
No,
because
No.
they had a bridge that they were doing, so all the animals and all the creatures had to be deflated, so they're like dragging on the ground. And it's like,
Oh, how horrible!
there's the dragging Snoopy Behind him is a dragging Garfield.
Are you filming Jeff filming you?
I'm trying to find the fire here.
Jeff's on his phone. Typical millennial.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. He's texting.
I love Stage's glasses on your phone. They look really good.
We're back live on Instagram.
Yeah.
Everybody, say hi.
Hello, Instagram viewers.
Hey,
You
we're
can't see
doing all right.
me.
We're doing all right.
But I'm here.
We're on the air with the Brew Witches and the Brew Witches' mom.
And let them know, Dan, when can our viewers now, our live streaming viewers, watch the replay on YouTube?
Yeah, you'll like this. Listen. When can we hear the three lovely ladies and the fourth lovely lady on
Do
the
they
phone?
just dial the Jeff Sargent-y show?
I think it's chaoticradio.com.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a stab in the dark.
Putting chaotic radio.
Your sarcasm
Jeff.
is showing,
Jeff,
broadly.
and it should pop up.
See, that's why I know you're the leader.
But
These
what
two
I
are
will
too
do,
polite.
when it pops up on Dan's page, I will take it. I'll post it.
Yeah,
Just go to my page. I'll
put
post it
on
up
Facebook
and grab it. And then you guys just spread it like wildfire.
Yeah. All right, my mom just texted me. She's got to go, guys. Everybody say
What? Bye,
bye.
Kathleen.
Oh, Kathleen.
Thank you for joining us, lovely one.
Will we see you tonight?
Bye, guys.
So bye,
Bye.
baby.
Bye.
Give.
Bye, Kathleen.
Bye. See you
Oh,
later.
more importantly, bye, Pippa.
Well, will you
Bye,
bye?
Pippa. Oh.
Kathleen.
Bye.
Kathleen, ixnay on telling her about Ipape until she gets home, Che.
I'm not telling you over a beer.
Yeah, you owe Pippa a beer.
Bye, Kathleen.
Bye, Mom.
Bye, Kathleen.
Bye, Kathleen.
Wow, the mother
My
of all
mom's so
brew witches.
supportive.
She is. That was charming.
Never
actually.
made it to a softball game in high school.
Oh.
She can call into the radio show.
At 7 a.m.
Yes.
Julia's got
Anything
more.
from bed is, I'm sure, is fine.
Julia's got more
That
issues
was
than Rolling
fun.
Stone.
Maybe.
That's
Wow.
like my mom. She listens to the radio show, and I do stand up, or I used to. I haven't done it.
Oh, there's
in about
Dan the man. Point to him with your
years.
finger. There we go.
Um,
Yeah, to film us like
But-
that. That's much better.
one of my stand-up acts, because I don't do jokes, and I hate when I tell people I do stand-up. They're like, "Well, tell me a joke." I'm like,
Hey,
You
do
know
something funny.
"Yeah, do something funny. Tell me a joke." Yeah, there's two Asians and a priest.
No.
And a rabbi walk into a bar. I don't do that. But no, one joke that I do say is with my mom is, for one thing, I've never smoked, except I did for 9 months. For 9 months when my mom was pregnant with me.
Your mom smoked while pregnant with you?
Oh, yeah, but this is back in the
Same
60s.
friend, same friend. Oh my goodness, this is the Rose Bowl parade float fire.
This is the
This
incident
we're
that cost
watching
Jeff his
the,
job.
Whoa.
The infamous Rose
For those of
Bowl
you who
float
can't
fire.
see this on radio, there was a giant fire on Jeff's phone.
Yeah, and that was an award-winning float at the Rose
Aw,
Parade. It
that's
was
so
a
sad.
combine tractor that burned up to a globule.
When the firefighters got there, Jeff was
Marshmallows.
masturbating wildly into the flames.
Oh my.
A careless welder set it on fire. All I did
Wink.
was live stream it and
yeah.
get in trouble.
No weed or anything.
No
Every time
weed
I
involved.
live stream, I get in trouble.
This is true. That's a lesson for you millennials.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you just tuning in, my name is Julia.
Leader of the Brew Witches. This is the lovely Destiny. And this is the lovely Sage, Lisa Loeb.
And we are the co-founders of the local Inland Empire chapter of the Brew Witches. Whoop whoop! If you're interested in following us,
Are you the
check
Alpha Brew
out
Witches? Did you come up with a
Instagram.
name? Because
Hey, I'm
Brew
in the
Witch-
middle of my pitch here,
Oh,
man.
yes, ma'am. Well, you're on for the
Follow
rest of the
us.
hour, smart
Follow
ass,
us
so you'll
on-
be able to do it at the end.
Follow us on Instagram at IE Brew Witches. We're live right now. Alexis says hi, Jeff.
Oh, hi, Alexis. Hi. Hello. How are you doing?
Yeah, she says you got in trouble for telling her that we were going to be on the show.
Oh, no, it doesn't
no.
matter because I doubt if they're going to call me back. Alexis, I love you. How are you doing, sweetheart?
Is this
Are you
Alexis,
there? Is
She's
she
been
there
sick.
right now?
Yeah,
Is she
she's
work-
oh, no, I don't think she's at work.
Oh,
Is this Alexis Icano?
she's a great painter, artist. To help her out, she does everything. She's a great little artist.
Help her out or listen to him
She
mansplain your
helps
life,
out.
Alexa.
Yep. And yeah, it was award winning.
Praise from a man. I love how Jeff
She says she's great and she's in bed.
Wow.
Aw.
I know she's been really sick. She had some awful virus flu thing.
Jeff will be right there.
Hey, sue the company.
All All right, I guess we're leaving live stream. We have a whole 4 people watching us.
Wow.
It's
The
like
Brew Witches.
Alexis and my boyfriend and like 2 random people. So love you guys.
Is that the laser tag
Peace
boyfriend?
And Steve Joyner sends his
Yeah,
hellos.
Steve Joyner sends hello to the Brew Witches. He's the officially fourth amigo.
He is the fourth amigo.
All right, Jeff, do you have any questions lined up for us?
I do. Let me start asking. Where'd you guys go to high school?
Claremont High.
Wow,
03. Pretty
That's
cool.
why you're so stuck up.
Wait, let me tell you something. He could have been your substitute teacher.
This
He
is true.
Oh, that's
substituted.
how I recognized you. I swear to God, I like recognized you.
I taught at Upland a little bit. I taught at Claremont, a
Claremont,
little
that's
bit.
cool.
I taught at Upland
English.
a lot. Yes,
He was Benny's substitute teacher.
I was Benny's
I
substitute
bet
teacher.
you were my sub before because I recognized you.
Well, you seemed like a nice girl that spent the Claremont not high on the.
I literally like ditched everything. So I
You played
barely-
volleyball though.
Softball.
You warmed the bench. Your mom said.
Yeah.
You didn't practice enough.
Where did you go to
Destiny,
school,
where'd you-
Destiny?
I went to Etiwanda High School.
Etowanda, formerly Rim of the World. Nicely done.
I went to Altaloma.
Altaloma.
Altaloma, so
Wow.
did Dan.
That's my alumni.
Yeah.
Were you one of the stoners
Alma
smoke-
mater.
I'm probably so much older than you. I'm class of '87.
Class of 2010.
Wow. There was a statue of Dan.
He's old enough to be your grandpa.
They said, "Don't be like this clown." It was the Dan in his clown makeup.
I freaked out because I'm a substitute teacher right now.
You are?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
living the
sub
dream.
at the Upland High, or I shouldn't actually tell anybody because.
Oh, you do sub it up on high.
Yeah, Upland High and Upland Junior High. But
You never do Pioneer?
I don't go back there. They were rude to me. Talk about snobs. Yeah.
How about
but
Oh my
they're-
God,
they're-
yeah.
Upland
they're
Junior
great.
High.
It's a great school. It's just like very hyper involved. Like they're very involved.
I'm gonna
Upland
give-
High is very laid back. That's like my scene. But I was gonna say, I was subbing and I realized I was asking kids, what year are you graduating? And I realized that some of them have been born after I graduated high school.
Isn't that terrible?
Like when I graduated high school in 2003, it's like the year they were born, and I had a panic attack.
Oh, that's
Wow,
scary.
what a
Isn't that
trip.
scary?
That's really
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
My best horror story about Upland Junior High. I think I told you guys about that.
I love it there. They're so cute.
There was this little girl, and I remember she goes, "Mr. J, I don't feel so good." You always go with your first initial. You never give them the full name.
Right, I go Miss M.
Yeah, because nobody can egg Miss M's house, and they don't know where Miss M lives. And there was this little girl, the science lab, it was that circular room downstairs at Upland Junior High.
Okay.
And this little girl goes, "Mr. J, I don't feel so good. Can I go to the bathroom in like 10 minutes? I said, "Of course," and this girl has a seat and she starts projectile vomiting. Projectile vomiting. I mean, like a spinning dinosaur in Jurassic Park.
Oh my.
She hit the whiteboard. She hit a bunch of kids' book bags.
Oh my God.
She looks down at her
What did we
bed.
say about vomit before
Oh.
10 a.m.?
So,
This is a good story.
so she's like,
Barfy jokes.
she's
Barfy
like,
stories.
this is like the first manifestation of her mutant ability. I have to get her out of the room.
Yeah.
So I get her out, and she's zapping everyone on her way out of the room.
Zapping.
And and so I called down, I let the nurse know she's coming. I called the office and I go, "This little girl vomited all over the room. Can you please give me another room? Because there's no windows in the science lab in the basement." And they go, "Don't worry, we've got you covered and we'll come get her stuff." The janitor shows up to this little girl. The little girl is now in the nurse's office. Janitor shows up with 3 biohazard trash bags. He starts throwing everybody's bags into one trash bag and carrying them off. And I go, "I'm in this room for like 9 more hours. What do we?" And he shakes up a can like the stuff you do when,
Sawdust stuff.
yeah, like when Pippa
I've
gets
seen that,
sick or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He pours this sawdust crap all over it, which makes the stuff smell 10 times worse. Kids are coming in the room later in the day and they're automatically gagging when they walk in. And I'm there all the way to 3:15. I'm like, "Don't we have another room?" "Mr. J, that's where they teach science." "Yeah, but it's covered in little girl vomit. Please put me anywhere else." They would not.
I'd be like, class is outside today. Grab a chair.
Sadly, it was the most joyless day of subbing, and all I could think of was that little girl coming in the next day.
Oh, how
'Cause-
long ago was that?
That was a little while ago. It was very terrible.
Call in if you're the little girl who
If you're that little girl who vomited, potential vomited.
We want to know the little girl who threw up. Threw up in the basement.
That was my worst day of subbing.
that
One
sounds
up
so
with high, I'll tell you off the air because it's pretty wild.
Sage,
but
did your parents have a bumper sticker on the car that said, "My kid made the grade, Altaloma Junior High"?
No, because I didn't make the grade.
They made it seem like their little junior high was nothing but scholars. I mean, it's just
How many
like,
kids do you know got hit by a car when they ran from the Rock to cross the street to get to McDonald's?
I don't think I know anyone who got it.
Because like 3 kids a year used to get hit at Altaloma. It'd always be some dumb kid who would run. He would run from the Rock, the Memorial
Jaywalking.
Rock in front. He would run to McDonald's, and they'd always get hit either there or on the way back. Any kid.
And Carlos Jr. was on the same side of the street.
I know. Why would you?
All the cool kids were across the street.
Well,
Was it
McDonald's is.
Legends across the street too?
Yes.
I'm so old. There was no Legends. There was no McDonald's.
All the cool kids
It
hung out
was
at
just a
Legends.
field.
But you had Carl's Jr.'s over there.
Stater
and
Brothers
the
was
Dickies.
there, right?
Legends
was
has
there,
Killer
and
Ranch.
Stater Brothers was
I drink
there.
their
And their
ranch.
small fries, not a small fry.
They're small.
Oh.
Lie. It's a small lie.
Carl's Jr. is so much better than McDonald's, actually. You
Yeah,
know?
but they're expensive. If you're a kid in high school, like you can't.
Not if you have
Yeah,
coupons.
but you know what? They have coupons. I mean,
Children do not get coupons. What
Yeah,
world are you
since,
living in?
since high school, my brother Donald.
No, I have a coupon.
Yeah, I have a coupon.
You
guy.
can get-
Guys.
My brother Donald is like Jesus, and then with the loaves and the fishes. My brother Donald always has so many Del Taco coupons. We'll get like $20 of food, and he'll spend like $3.
All right, I'm ready for our next question.
Okay.
Okay, lay it on me.
Okay. Your first, the first CD you bought for yourself.
Oh my God, no! Brewitch's questions. You guys don't have any
No,
questions.
no,
about our
shut
club?
up. You don't get to tell me
shut
what
up.
questions.
I'm taking over the
Julia,
show.
no
I
way.
am the captain now.
Julia is taking over the
Sit
show.
down, Hillary.
Which is fine with me.
Sit down, Hillary. We ask the
Don't
questions here.
mansplain to me. I'm fine.
I'm totally mansplaining.
Fine.
Julie can do whatever she damn well wants to on this show.
Yeah.
We'll start with you,
Julie,
Destiny.
take it over.
Destiny, what was the first CD you bought for yourself?
The first CD that I got bought for me was Britney Spears because that was also my first concert when I was 7.
Wow, you got to
I
hear
was
it.
hyped. Let me tell
Literally
you,
same.
7-year-old
Wow.
me was so excited.
Same.
And then my first CD I bought, I think it was Sex Pistols, and I had
Really?
matching bands.
Wow.
Queen.
Bravo.
Yeah.
And I
all
think
right.
I was like 12, and I was like,
Wow.
See,
That's
I'm
great.
so old that
Sex
mine was
Pistols.
a tape, and it was I saw
cassette
the
tape?
I saw the sign. Who was that band?
Oh, Ace of Base.
Ace of Base. I was obsessed with them.
Oh
One
my
of them was a white
goodness.
That was my
supremacist.
Is that all
Oh my
my
God.
dreams came
One
true
of-
last night?
One of the
I don't
the,
think so, but
the-
that's a good tune.
the Bond guy used to be a white supremacist.
Oh, way to kill it for me.
I still saw the
I love
sign.
you, Jesus. It wasn't me, I swear.
Julia for the Angels. How about you, Sage? You look in trouble.
I saw the sign. No one's gonna drag you up to get into the light where
You belong. Ooh.
Go back where you belong.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
That's
Julia,
it.
didn't you work for a record company?
I used to work for a publicity firm that handled a lot of musicians.
You were
Yeah.
a publicist
I
as well as a
used-
self.
I've
I used
seen
to be a
her
publicist.
office had gold records
kind
on
of
the
a big
wall.
deal.
Yeah, I used to be a publicist. I didn't like it.
I didn't like it
for a
either. I
while.
was a publicist for Universal Studios Home Entertainment.
Oh, that's cool. You didn't like it either?
I loved it
Oh, you
until
did?
you worked there. Then once you're working there, you would write something that the president, the vice president of my department would use, and then she'd be complaining about the president, and it's like she's taking credit for my ideas.
Well, that's the job.
Yeah, but I
that's
hated
what you're
that.
doing.
I hated
yeah.
that. I hated.
You're
I
the behind the you're the wizard. You're behind the curtain.
I was. You know
Oh
what?
man.
We were in
Yeah.
charge
No
of horror.
glory.
Yes, and
Yeah.
you're the first one to take a bullet, and you're the last
Yeah.
guy to
You
get
didn't
any
like it.
credit
Yeah, that's
whatsoever.
probably why I didn't like
so
it.
weird.
Good.
You know what?
need all the
And
glory.
it
I need the
sucks.
glory.
That's why she's the leader. Sage, the first CD you bought for yourself.
Honestly, it was also Britney Spears, and that was
Hey.
also the first
Yeah.
concert. 90s kids.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
my first concert was Limp Bizkit and Method Man and Redman. So
Wow.
the Family Values tour.
Limp Bizkit,
Yeah,
yeah.
let me just brush my shoulders off. So
So
How
what
were
Nic-
the
what
How were
Nickel-
the '90s, Grandma?
What Nickelodeon shows were you watching? Clarissa Tells All?
That's
yeah,
Cat.
She explains it all, Jab.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
Cat.
I
Teenage
was.
Witch.
Na, na,
Yes.
na, na.
Buffy.
By the way,
I was
na,
really into
na,
Buffy.
One of my
na.
favorite, one of my favorite stories about Clarissa explains it all for you, and she's the same girl who played Sabrina.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did an episode of that show.
She
No way. That's so
she
cool.
did. She turned around and she tried to crowdfund a movie, thinking, well, everyone grew up with me, Clarissa and Sabrina.
Isn't her name Melissa Joan Hart?
Yeah.
Melissa
Yes,
Joan
yes.
Hart, very
Yeah.
good. She crowdfunded, and an international crowdfund, and she didn't get more than $1,000.
Oh, that is sad.
Wow.
They're
Sad
rebooting
trombone.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch on Netflix.
They have it on there now?
They're rebooting
Oh, they're
it.
rebooting
But it's
it.
gonna be like really dark. I guess they did like a comic book
I like
series.
that
Like
Yeah,
a darker
if-
Sabrina the Teenage
the-
Witch.
the-
Best
actually-
was the Catty Cat. I liked the cat.
The comic book series.
Yeah.
He was
Salem.
my
That was
favorite.
Martin Mull.
The
voice-
comic book series is by Roberto Aguirre Sarcasa. No, Martin Mull played the principal on Sabrina. The cat was voiced by
Some British person,
I could have
right?
swore his.
Yeah, no, Salem was voiced by. I interviewed him. He's a voiceover actor. But it wasn't. Martin Mull was on the show as well. He sounds a little bit like Martin Mull, but it's not. The other thing is, oh man, I mentioned her crowdfunding.
Melissa Joan Hart.
Yes, yes. And the poor thing couldn't get more than $1,000. Sage, say something because we think you are not here.
Oh, hello.
There we go.
That's Sage, guys.
Hi.
She's like the kid from Pet Cemetery. Everyone can hear these two, but not her. Thank you. Well, nicely done, Dan the Man. You've earned your producer credit for yet another day. Now, we're going on with our questions for the Brew Widget.
Yes, I'm ready for the next one.
What's your favorite beer?
I like IPAs. I think my favorite, though, is actually a pale ale by Ballast Point. It's called Grunion. It's delicious. It's just like a classic, easily drinkable hoppy beer. It's really good.
We're going to have the mime answer this one because we haven't heard her all the...
Have I been off the whole time?
Yes.
Do you choose?
Quiet.
What,
You're like
what
that
do you
close
like more,
enough.
IPAs or lagers?
I like IPAs. I go both sides of the spectrum. I love IPAs or stouts.
Atta girl.
Are you gonna put it in my mouth?
Yes,
Talk right
in
into
your
the
mouth.
purple.
I
Oh.
choose lager.
That's
This
what
is
she
hot.
said.
Sure. Nice. That proves you're the leader.
Well, what's your favorite beer, Sage?
Oh, I don't know if I have a specific favorite beer. I like Bell's Two-Hearted Ale. It's an IPA. That one's really good. And I like barrel-aged stouts, and I don't discriminate. I also love sours.
Oh, she
Just
loves sours as
asking you
well.
guys for one. Come on.
How about
I
you,
love
Destiny?
everything.
Oh,
I like stouts and sours. For a while, I was
I
drinking.
like sour tea.
Yeah. I was drinking. Oh my gosh, what's it called? Rosetta, I think it's called, by Ommegang in New York. And for stouts, fundamental observation. by Bob
wow.
You know,
So good.
I went to
Oh
New
my
Orleans
God.
and did a little like my own brewery tour, and I checked out this killer beer place. And there's a brewery called Abita out there.
Yes.
And they have a Parish IPA that is so friggin' good, and you can't get it out here. And I put like a 6-pack in my luggage on the way home, and 2 broke on my clothes, and I cried. But then I only had 4 of them, and they were just so good. I wish I like.
leak
But
I
you
was like, my
did-
mouth is watering.
You
thinking
did it.
about
You
How
did-
did you bring it back?
in my suitcase.
Did you? You did.
And it
brew-
broke in the
you did-
suitcase?
Yeah, I like wrapped it in like.
You did
clothes.
Bourbon Street though, right?
Yes, but
Did-
the best one was French Street, which is like
French Quarter, yeah.
No, not the French Quarter. There's a place called French Street,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like a half a mile down, and it was just badass. There's this place called the Spotted Cat. It's a cash only bar, and they just
Yes.
have the best music over there, and that was like much more like local feeling. It's less like Vegasy, you know. French. The
Yeah,
French
but you
Quarter
gotta
is
have a
all
hand grenade.
Vegasy.
You gotta have a hand grenade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got the hand grenade. It was the drink of choice.
Oh, I was like, I don't
I
have
know,
that.
actual
hand grenade.
It's called the hand grenade, and there's another one called the Skylab. And the
okay.
Skylab is amazing. I mean, the Skylab will make it's delicious, but the next morning it'll feel like half your head exploded.
What's in it?
In outer
Everything.
space?
It was the drink. Skylab was the drink of choice, and the joke is after you drink one, you'll be falling too. You know, like and then the hand grenade was put on the map because the drunken Bush daughters did like 2 hand grenades in a row one night when they did Bourbon Street with Secret Service standing by. How long ago did you go?
I was there in February, so a year
Oh,
ago.
so you're okay. Good,
Yeah,
you're good.
I went with my mom for her birthday, and we went right at the beginning of Mardi Gras season.
I
Did you
remember
earn
on
your-
Facebook the pictures you
Yeah.
posted.
What
Yes.
was
We
it?
had a
Was that one of you
blast.
opening your beads?
No, we didn't do anything nutso like that, but we went on because I'm a super planner. I know it doesn't come off that way to
No
anybody.
way.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't have an A-type personality.
Let the record
But,
reflect that Destiny and Sage looked up at the same time and mouth.
And so
We
we
love
did
her
like,
for it.
yeah, thanks guys. But we did
Little
a bunch
Miss
of
Taipei.
tours. Yeah, we did like a cemetery tour. We did a voodoo tour.
Okay. Then the cemetery tour is amazing because
we went to the place where they build the floats for the Mardi Gras World. That was cool.
Also, where they shot the Jean-Claude Van Damme classic Hard Target.
Okay.
Where he's running around all the parade floats.
How
believe
about,
it.
Easy Rider? Wasn't that?
Yes. In fact, Easy Rider, one of the great things. Easy Rider, they told my dad and my brothers and I did the Easy Rider Cemetery, which is where Marie Laveau, the Witch Queen of New Orleans, is buried. They told me on the tour, we went to the Pieta, which was the Virgin Mary holding Jesus in her lap, which is where Peter Fonda crawls into her lap and when he's high in Easy Rider. And the woman giving us the walking tour of the cemetery told us every Easy Rider reunion year, you know, one of the big years when they're celebrating it, they closed the cemetery because they said they would get these 400-pound bikers in tractor boots climbing into her marble lap.
Oh, that would break.
Yeah, that's it. And so,
wait, climbing on a statue?
Yeah,
I've done that. Sage took a picture of me in Denver.
Oh yeah.
Basically straddling a cowboy.
Wow.
Kind of a big deal in Denver.
That's how drunk she was.
I wasn't
Mom.
even drunk. It was like noon.
That's just
JoJo
Juliet.
hadn't come out yet.
JoJo was not on
JoJo
scene.
wasn't out yet.
I just really, it was like a weird cowboy statue and he had like a saddle in his hand and I just really wanted to sit on the saddle.
Wow.
So I sat on it and took a picture.
Did you do the gator farms when you were in New Orleans?
Did I do gator farms? No, we didn't want to like drive. We didn't have a car, so we didn't drive out.
So no Tabasco factory for you?
No. We just
Oh, let's
used
see.
public transit.
Cute as hell.
everywhere.
Literally
Hold
a
on.
cowboy holding
There,
a
yeah.
saddle
Save
and
a horse.
just hanging off
Save a
the
horse,
side
ride a
of the
cowboy statue. Yeah.
Wow. Wait. Did you just make a Big and Rich reference?
I did.
Wow. I did a Big and Rich video. I was Abraham Lincoln in some video where every...
I can see that.
Jeff.
Wow. It was
It was funny
It's
because
funny, right?
people walking by were watching her do it, and then they were trying to do the same thing, like recreate her photo. She started a
I
whole.
want a glossy
I started a
over
trend.
thing.
I'm telling you. I couldn't have been the
Please
first.
tell
thing,
me that's your
definitely not.
Facebook page image. It should be if it
No,
isn't.
But it's pretty funny.
Wow, that's adorable, actually. And so you went to New Orleans. Where's the coolest place you've gone, Sage and Destiny?
I would say the coolest place I've been was Canada. I went.
What part?
To Vancouver.
Ah.
So I went to Vancouver, and then I took the ferry over to Victoria.
Oh my God! So you did. Victoria Island is so damn cool, isn't
Beautiful, and they actually have really good breweries all in Canada.
it? And those. Oh my God! And they have those great maple leaf cookies. Did you have those when you were
I
there?
don't think I had anything.
Sage
Ah.
doesn't eat. she drinks her calories.
Sage
I
is an
drank all
anorexic.
the beer.
Oh man, those cookies sound pretty good.
Those
man.
cookies are amazing. They're maple cookies. You drink them. I mean, you drink the beer, but you
Made
eat the
with real
cookies.
maple from Canada.
Yes,
eh?
maple syrup is a Canadian home.
Yes.
And they believe in this paganistic thing. No wonder witches liked it. It's called the
No.
it's called the metric
Yes.
system. Jesus and Julia are very disappointed. In,
Yes.
Jesus and
We're
Kathleen are
judging
disappointed in you.
And then, sorry. yeah.
Destiny, coolest
Oh,
place you've
boy.
gone.
Hawaii.
Why?
Yeah.
Did you go where they shot Jurassic Park, or did you go to the
I
boring?
did to Kulala Ranch. I went there.
Atta girl.
Jurassic
Yeah.
Park is my life. Jeff Goldblum. That's my
Wow.
man.
Which island did you go to?
The main
What?
island. We went to Hilo, and it was cool. I actually learned a lot about coffee there. I wasn't 21 yet, so couldn't go to the breweries. but
Well, if
we
you were
went
into
to
ba- if you were into bad '90s bands, you had to go and see Pele from Boys for Pele. Tori Amos fan.
My coolest place, because it's not New Orleans, sorry, is
It's not New Orleans?
No, I went to Costa Rica on my 30th birthday with
Isla Nubar.
with my mom again. She's my travel buddy.
There you go.
I've been single for 3 years. Just got a boyfriend. No big deal.
He runs
we're
a laser.
desperately in love.
He runs a laser tag
No,
place.
screw that place.
Jeff broke. He broke Jeff's
Anyways,
heart. But
anyways.
I want that on record.
My mom and I went to Costa Rica and we went zip lining. I'm really into whitewater rafting.
She
we
made
did
me
that
go
there.
whitewater rafting.
Yeah,
Did she really?
In Denver,
Wow.
yeah, Sage and I in
I was
Colorado.
terrified.
She was so scared before, and then when we were on the boat,
I was
she
like,
like
"Let's
had
do it
a
again."
freaking blast.
What part of Colorado did you guys go to?
We went to Denver and we stayed in, or we went to Golden. We went to Red Rocks.
Red
We should go
Rock.
see a
Wow.
band out there.
I did a movie in Colorado in Lake City where the cannibal ate like the 5 miners back in the 1800s. It's amazingly empty, but it's amazingly beautiful. They're serious about their beer because they have nothing else to do.
Yeah, what did we hear? 500 breweries in Denver? or
Yeah,
something?
something like that.
Oh
There's
my
so
God.
many breweries.
Just
in Denver.
Denver, not even the state.
Did you go to
they're
South
all
Park,
over.
the real South Park?
I have been to the
No,
real
no,
South Park.
wow.
When I
Tell us
go-
about it.
There's nothing there.
It's a one street.
Yeah.
It's a one street. It's a bunch of crappy stores.
Yes, and they sell South Park stuff.
Of
because it's
course.
kitschy and yeah, we did a road trip out there the first time I went. And
Bunch of
yeah, we
paper
had stuff from
cutouts.
South
Yeah,
Park.
the kid driving me back to I had to get to Denver airport to go home, and they have when a movie's ramping out there, they have the lowest guy in the totem pole do the most thankless job. So he was driving me and the special effects guy back to the airport, and he kept falling asleep at the wheel.
Oh my gosh.
So I had to get in the front of the van and, hey, I sure love Colorado. Let me roll down this window. I had to keep this kid awake for 5 hours so he could get me. I hope he made it home alive, but that wasn't my concern. Once I made Denver, my concern was over.
Sounds kind of like Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon
Portland.
sucks.
Wait a second.
I
Wait a
always
second.
wanted to
You
go
are
there.
pretentious.
That
Outside
was-
of Paul.
Sage, that was
Outside
the
of
most
Paul's
beautiful city lit up at night.
It's
They have a lot of breweries.
It is
there.
beautiful at night.
They have
The-
the most breweries
Like
per
the
capita.
bridges, the
Yes.
water, the stadiums, the tall buildings. the
Problem
lights.
is,
It's gorgeous.
I love it.
problem is, I missed my connecting train. So
Personal.
I spent 10 hours in the GD bus station. They had
it
to
was
lock
raining.
you. There was so many. It was pouring rain. There were so many homeless people.
Did you
They-
say porn rain?
pouring rain.
Porn.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what's that look like?
The back of that laser tag place.
Is it sticky? Oh,
Wow.
He just met because he had a
Kathleen.
horrible
I'm
experience
starting to
there.
wake up.
Kathleen, you co-created the prevert.
Portland's a wonderful city, right, Sage? I
love
enjoyed it.
Portland.
Listen,
When I went through there,
outside of
definitely wanna go.
Powell's books,
Oh, Powell's, yeah.
Powell's
the
is
2
beautiful.
city blocks.
they used to have a giant block
one
long.
bookstore?
One
it's
bookstore.
all
is 2 city
bookstores.
blocks.
Two
I
ci-
got
have to
lost
go
in
there. That
there.
is
Five
so
stories.
cool.
5 stories, 2
my
city
gosh.
blocks. Only
It's
problem is a
amazing.
little overpriced.
Yeah,
They'll have
I didn't
every
buy
book.
anything.
Yeah, you looked.
I'd
You know-
sit in
I
there
walked
for a
around
whole
there
day and probably
forever.
just read and they'd hate me.
Except, well, no,
But it'd be
that's,
really fun.
that's the thing.
That's what everyone does.
But Portland, I remember when the urban legend about the black-eyed kids came out of Portland.
What?
Where you've heard of the black-eyed
No.
kids, right? Oh my God! So it was this big urban legend thing. We were listening into Portland. Black-eyed kids are these ghost children who supposedly died in a train accident. A train hit a bus in Portland, Oregon, allegedly. So my brother and I had to walk to the bottom, punch in black-eyed children. You'll get a whole ton of it there, Julia. And what happened is we're walking to the car by ourselves, and there's a kid standing by the doorway, and my brother Stephen goes, "It's a black-eyed kid."
Hit him.
Well,
Get away from me.
yeah, it's like, get away from us. Because not only do they have more beers per capita, they got more homeless kids than anywhere else in the West Coast.
They do have a lot of
Why?
youth homeless. But
Because
they
it's-
also have a lot of cool programs. Like I went to a Panera Bread there, and it was this cool thing where you could pay whatever you want for your food. So like if you have extra money, you
They
can pay a
round
little
tip.
more. And then if you don't have any money, they would give you a meal.
Isn't that great?
It's awesome.
That's really
I
cool.
spent a week in Frisco. There was a town in San Francisco like that. I was covering, this is when WonderCon used to be held in the Bay Area. And when we would get on the BART and we'd get on the bus, and it was really expensive. And then my brother noticed all these old hippies would get on the bus without paying. So the next day, my brother Don goes, "Just follow my lead." We walked onto the bus and we greeted the driver. "Hey, brothers, hop on the bus." And we never paid. It was amazing. For the rest of the week, we were riding free like all the hippies. So I'm all for anytime you feel like giving money, give money. Anytime you feel like riding for free, ride for free.
I used to work at Yard House in Pasadena.
Oh,
Yes,
And,
I've been there.
across the street from the movie theater.
Yes,
Yes.
ArcLight. It was cool. They used to give us free movie tickets, which
Did
was
they
really
really?
nice.
Wow.
But no, they have this thing that because they have a big homeless problem in Pasadena as well, which is weird because it's such a beautiful place. It's so expensive to live, but
Yes.
there's so many homeless people. It's really sad. But they have this thing at all of the restaurants there where they have a place where you can put your tip, but above that, you can like round to the nearest dollar, and then all of it goes to like building new homeless charities and like, stuff
Wink.
like that. So it's really
Sounds like it goes to the waitress's weed fund.
Okay, Jeff, is your laptop on? I'm hearing music.
Yeah, Jeff, you're playing music on your laptop.
This whole
'cause-
time.
Oh, I thought that was on purpose.
I thought it was on
Fix
purpose,
that
too.
Or get that done.
You know what? It's only on the headphones. My laptop is not hooked to the
Close
radio
it, smartass.
station at all.
Yeah, but you hear it
If it's
coming out.
playing through the
I hear
speaker.
it. I hear it.
The
It's not
microphone.
my
Hey,
computer.
stop playing
I
once
thought
we
it was
start
on
closing.
purpose.
It's not coming out of the sound here. It would not. It'd have to feed in the microphone. It's not. I can hear it reading.
How weird. Have you ever seen this before?
Right there. It's been playing all. You know what?
I think it's the laptop. I really
Well,
do.
let's see. I'm gonna shut this thing down.
Or
Watch
just
the
go to
music.
the mute. Go to the right
Just
side.
mute it, right side,
bottom,
mute.
and put
No,
mute.
that's not gonna help. I'm gonna shut it down.
It's been annoying me, and I've been
Okay, I'm gonna put my
trying to
headphones
hold
back
myself from saying
Dun,
anything.
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, it's
It was-
on.
It was
Yeah,
you.
we're like
The music
done.
stopped.
The music's been on.
on. Wait a second. Really?
I can
Was
still
that
hear
right?
I
it.
can
Wait,
hear
wait,
it
no,
still
listen.
playing.
I hear Michael
Listen.
Jackson.
Move out. Don't mess
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
Move
yeah.
out.
It's you, Dan. It is
Dan.
you.
It is not me.
It is you. It
I
is
think we
this
should
radio
just leave it
station.
and pretend it's on purpose, guys.
I like it.
That,
I like it.
that song always reminded me of the Omen Nation stand against him. He's your brother.
My computer is off. I have
Music's
nothing
off, too.
And the
plugged in.
music's off now too.
Music's off too. He's right. It was you.
It was you.
Wait.
Uh,
No, it's
No,
not
it's
there.
still playing.
No, I could still hear it in
It's
the,
the ghost
distance.
of the black-eyed children.
There's a
singing
ghost
Michael
in the
Jackson as-
machine.
I think we should
It's
just
like the
fly.
albinos in Mountain Baldy. I don't know. if
Wait,
you
how
ever
can
heard
this
that.
only happen when the
No, you have to say
when
the
the
story
Blue
now.
Witches show up?
The
This is the
albinos
first
on
time
Mountain
ever.
Baldy.
Maniacal laugh.
What
maniacal
happened
laugh.
on Mount Baldy is they have a retreat for monks. The guy who wrote
I've always heard this rumor. That's not true.
no,
is
it
it?
is true. It is true.
What?
Because the guy who wrote the song from Shrek, Hallelujah, the guy who died.
The
Jeff
music's
Buckley?
gone.
No, not Jeff
He
Buckley.
said hallelujah. A guy
Yeah,
that
the-
died. I don't know.
Hallelujah. What's that song called? Come on, it's in Shrek. Hallelujah. The guy used to bang Rebecca De Mornay. What's his name? He died.
No,
He
the
just-
music is back.
and
It
the
hasn't
music's
left, bro. It's
Turn
been there
off
this
your
whole time.
phone. It must be the
Oh,
phone.
shut up! It ain't the damn phone.
It is the damn phone.
Nah, it's you guys. I blame production.
You're not hearing.
Hey.
Nothing is
Yeah,
connected.
that's
okay,
right.
so the albinos
The man behind the
in
glass.
Mount
Yeah.
Baldy.
So what
is
happens
this?
is
I'm curious.
there's a monastery for monks on Mount Baldy. And
Okay.
I noticed it because I worked in a movie theater in high school and college. And
Not
these guys,
surprised.
yeah, thank you. These guys with shaved heads came in, and one of them was having muscle cramps because in the colder weather on Mount Baldy, supposedly they would be outdoors doing like some sort of jacuzzi in really cold weather to prove they could take it.
Yeah, to like they would like mentally lower their core body temperature type
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
Okay.
And he had a seizure during
Oh
one
my
of the
God.
movies. And he was having muscle cramps, and we had to call an ambulance for him.
That's
The
scary.
guy who, Hallelujah, who did that song? You know who I'm talking about? Leonard Cohen. Leonard friggin'
Oh,
Cohen.
Leonard I'm
Thank you.
yes, yeah. I said Jeff Buckley.
Yeah,
Don't
Jeff
listen to
Buckley.
me
There goes your cool
ever again.
credibility. Destiny.
Yeah.
So Leonard
Leonard
Cohen lived on Mount Baldy for a while at this monastery. And another guy who did is, you remember the guy from Saturday Night Live? King, the guy who played Mango in Saturday Night Live. Remember?
Chris Kattan.
Oh,
I Mango. I
he's
danced for
so
you at the
funny.
club.
It's too sexy, no.
Oh.
His dad,
I'm Antonio Banderas.
His
Too
dad-
sexy. Too sexy.
his
No.
dad, Kip Kattan, was one of the founders of the Groundlings, and he played one of Joker's henchmen on the old Batman TV series.
Wow.
They both lived in Baldy at this monastery for a while.
What?
And so this, because they had shaved heads, the rumor started that there was an albino colony on Mount Baldy. Because they were monks. They're pale monks with
Have you
shaved
guys
heads.
heard that like small people live in the top of like Azusa? Like they have a town. Have you
Yeah,
guys heard
from
of
like
that?
the Wizard of Oz, all the
seen
dwarves.
Like they have
or
little
the- yeah.
houses. Have you heard of
I've
that?
seen
Yes,
I've heard of
they're
that.
co- they're-
I've seen it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
They're called stay free mini
Somebody's
pads. They don't
always
charge
seen
them
it.
rent.
But
If
I've
you
never
want
seen
it,
I've
you-
never seen it.
I drove up there.
You're a
What?
liar.
I heard you had
I
to
swear,
hike.
you can't get too close to it, but there's like small houses.
I heard
That's
you
so
had to hike like
crazy.
10 miles in the
That's not true.
mountains and like all this craziness and like
I
if they
am
see
gonna
you,
search
they'll
this.
They
attack
like get
you,
really
like,
pissed
they
off
run
if
really
people go
fast
up
and
there.
just
Like they
attack
don't like
you.
it. Yeah.
There's a
so they
part
would.
of Angeles National Forest, actually, in Azusa.
I just want to see the little houses so I can feel tall.
How
I feel like a
tall?
giant,
How
though.
tall
That's
are
why I
you?
like drinking Red Bull. I feel like a big giant because it's like the can's so small.
How tall are you, Julia?
I'm 5'8.5".
Oh, okay, that's almost
And
tall.
with heels, she could be 6 foot if she wants to.
Yes, I could. Sage is our tallie.
How tall
Yes.
are you, Sage?
She's like
5'9".
half
And
an
a
inch
half.
taller
Oh,
than
I think
me.
she's
gosh.
5'9" and a
I'm
half.
5'9", excuse me.
Yeah, she's
And over
she's
6 feet
undercutting
with
herself.
heels once again.
And I'm 5'3".
Wow.
Yeah, my mom's
I'm the
5'2". She's a little midgy.
So is mine.
Aw.
Your mom's short too?
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom's 5 foot. She thinks I'm so tall. Always growing up, she'd be like, "Oh, like you're so tall. You're gonna grow up to be so tall." She tells everyone that I'm so tall, and I'm
And
like,
then I
"Mom,
stand
I'm
next to you."
5'3".
Well, just like I told Sage, I said, you've grown tall since I've seen you last. You've grown so
I
tall.
know, right?
And that
the
was just
same.
last week I saw you.
She's standing up straight today.
Yeah, that's like my physical therapist told me. She goes, "You're 5'8", but she goes, if you stand up straight and arch your back, you could be 5'10".
Dang, that's a big difference.
And my wife could outsize me because she's 5'8", and when she puts on heels, she's like I'm like,
Empire State Woman.
Hello.
Yeah,
How's the weather up there?
I've always had short friends, and then now I have Sage, so I don't feel scared like wearing heels out.
When Jordan's heels, she's as tall as me.
Yeah.
I like wearing heels around you guys when you wear flats, because then
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm normal. This is
I can't
fine.
walk in heels, so I always wear flats.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, where do you see the Brew Witches in a year? What are you guys going to do to expand
What do
your
you, yeah,
colony?
how do you see this a year from now?
Well, we do our membership drives once a year, so those are in October, and we're hoping to have.
Of course, you're witches.
Yes. We're hoping to have more funding and more brewery sponsorships because this was our inaugural year for membership, so we didn't want to overdo ourselves with reaching out to breweries and trying to get these partnerships going. But we definitely want to be expanding a little bit more on that front because all of the money that we make from membership drives, from merchandise, from anything, it goes right back into the club, and we spend it on the people in our club. So, for example, we had a potluck for Christmas that we donated items to from our club and then from our funding. And we're going to be doing an off-tasting flavor event coming up pretty soon, and that's all going to be paid for out of the club money. So nothing goes to us. We don't. I mean, the only thing we really get out of it is a tax write-off, but we spend a lot of time and energy
like a
working.
job.
It's like a second job
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and we don't. We only get the joy of making it happen and being with our friends and working together on stuff. But
Yeah. I would say within a year. I'm not too sure, but we definitely all see in the future.
Like most witches.
we look in our crystal
With our
balls.
third eye, we
Yeah.
open it wide and we
They're
look.
reading the entrails of the dead fourth member, the girl who disappeared.
No, we have members that have moved to Chicago and Seattle and Portland.
I
And
love
they've-
Seattle. Far more than Portland.
My best friend just moved up there like a month ago.
The important thing to remember is don't buy at Powell's, especially if you drive up to see her. You save your money and you go to Half Price Books, which is the best used bookstore ever. Wooden floors. Some of the hippies will let you. It will have cats walking around half price, and you can pet the cat.
That's cute.
And you're just sipping coffee, petting a cat, and reading a book you have no intention of buying.
I just lived there.
I think
right
I know
in the
where
bathroom.
Destiny was going with
Yeah,
this.
so
but
we have the word brew witches we actually have is
We're incorporated, so
But that's you
nobody
guys
can also-
invented the term brew witches.
I mean, we didn't invent it. There's like things online that we looked up that were witches brew, but nothing brew witches. So,
It's
yeah.
adorable, actually. It's a great. You guys have a
Yeah,
really
we
Get it
should
up
sick-
have-
at the right time because
No.
somebody else could have came up and took that domain, huh?
But you guys are charming. You make the best ambassadors of your own product. The three of you are so funny.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? I mean, the way you finish each other's sentences is kind of charming.
I'm trying to let Destiny
Yeah,
finish
so
her thought. I'm like
we have-
waiting.
Thank you.
And that's why I know Julie's the leader. She has to
Yeah.
restrain herself from finishing Sage
I
and
know, I'm like,
Destiny's
You
conversation.
can do it.
So we have members that have moved to other states, and they've asked us, can we start a chapter over here? Which is definitely something that we see doing in the future. Is not only just having IE Brew Witches, which is going to be like
Is
the
that the name,
mothership.
i.e. Brew Witches?
Just because we're
Yes.
Inland
Of course.
Empire, but we want to do like one in Chicago, one in Seattle, one in Portland, one
What
wherever we can actually.
What about one in
have,
like
people that
Pasadena? which is a great.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah,
would really
LA.
like that. I know we have my friend moved
Or
to Long
San
Beach not too long
Gabriel.
ago, and she
Well,
wants to do one there.
The coolest thing about our
San
club is
Diego.
that we pool our resources. So the women that come donate their time and efforts too. So we have a great person in our club who helps advise us on legal matters, and she's the one
Her
who
name's
helped.
Heather, and she's
Oh,
excellent.
yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Heather.
Shout
She's
out to
always
Heather.
just-
I didn't want to put her on blast because sometimes we say it wrong. Remember, we're not supposed to say that she's like. We have to like say it the right way. I know. I know.
That's hard.
Okay, so anyways, we have someone that helps us with our club, and she helped us with our bylaws and like filling out a lot of paperwork. And she's gonna help advise us on how to do this whole like extended chapter thing and how that works, and people using our name and kind of using our bylaws and the things that we've set up for them,
We
like
can
the
use
structure,
and
our logo.
platform.
So
What will get them kicked out of the Brew Witches? What is misbehavior?
Getting too trash and
getting
acting
too
a fool.
trash, being rude to staff.
Yeah.
We have actually a code of conduct that
Do
we
you
make
really?
people
Not being rude to
sign.
waitresses. That's very impressive.
Yeah.
We've all worked in the industry, and so we respect the people in the industry, and we want to make sure that we leave a good impression when we leave. So we always make
Wow,
sure that the girls
you guys, that's really charming.
take care of.
And by the way, Sage and Destiny are a perfect name for witches.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty
Wow.
witchy.
Yeah, they are. Is that really your name? SAGE?
Yes,
Her-
it is.
she's got the
Wow.
coolest
I
thing. Tell them
I
your
like
whole
when we
name.
introduce
Tell them your
So
whole
s-
name.
really blast my whole name.
Yeah,
right?
it's cute.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Sage Lorraine Monroe.
Wow.
Wow.
What's your whole name, Destiny?
Destiny Joy Romero, which means rosemary in Spanish.
Are you really?
I think it's funny because if I have a kid, it's going to be Destiny's Child or Rosemary's Baby. Which
Wow.
I'm fine with either. I'm fine with
Wow.
either.
Are you related to George Romero? The recently deceased?
Yes.
You are?
No, I'm
Oh.
not. I wish.
You were so cool in my eyes.
You were so like adamant. You're like, yes.
Yeah.
I thought,
Related
yes.
to
I believed you.
Rafael Romero's famous soccer player.
Wow. Well, who cares? George Romero, man.
I know,
Dawn of
dude.
the Dead,
I wish.
baby.
Maybe, probably somewhere down the line.
Wow.
I hate my name. I'm ready to trade it up.
What's your last name, Julia?
My last? I don't even say it right. It's Lithuanian. I say Matalonis, but
I
my-
say Matalunius. I thought it was.
I've heard
Yeah,
I thought it was Greek.
macadamia
Yeah,
nuts.
he made you
kinds.
sound like a sexy Star Trek alien. Julia Matalunius is coming in the room.
Matalunius, yeah.
Matalunius. I love
Yeah,
that.
my dad
Does she have
says
green
it.
skin?
My dad's from Lithuania, so he speaks it, and he says our last name really weird. I can't do it. I think it's something like Metalunis or something. I make it sound French, but it's not. I don't know. I can't do it right.
Is your
And
mom Lithuanian?
Your first name is from your grandma, but it was a different name over there. What was it again? It was really
Yeah,
pretty.
my name's Julia. I'm named after my grandma, but in Lithuania, it's Yulita.
Yulita. Oh, now is mom Lithuanian too?
Yeah, my grandparents on my
Wow.
dad's side are like they were. My dad is older than my mom, and he was born during World War II. So he was like 4 when they invaded Lithuania and they left. So he actually went through a concentration camp to get out, and they moved to Canada, and he grew up in Canada.
Wow.
And like he's a big part of the Lithuanian community, and we go to like the Lithuanian festival in LA every once in a while, and I'm kind of into it. But I don't speak the language, so it's like not as cool. I remember I went to this Lithuanian festival, and these guys were like old guys were like poaching me to like marry off to their children
their
because I have like
kids.
Lithuanian blood.
Because we want to keep
So,
the
like,
blue eyes and
Yeah,
the blonde hair.
I was like really single and sad at the time, so I was kind of on board. I was like, how tall are they?
Do you have pictures?
Do you have pictures? Yeah, but yeah, my dad's Lithuanian. It's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay. Well, so is Kathleen Lithuanian as well?
No, she's Irish, and my grandma hated her, and
Oh, boo.
and they want because my dad was married before my mom to a Lithuanian woman named Lima, and my mom calls her Lima Bean, which is hilarious.
I have a coworker.
Yeah, and they but they're actually friends still, and but the point is she cheated on my dad, so thumbs down to her,
Boo.
and they got a divorce, and then my dad married my mom.
Yay, the happy ending.
My grandparents hated my mom because she wasn't Lithuanian.
Your grandparents sound very provincial.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were born in what, like 1901 or something crazy.
What side of World War II did they fight on?
The Lithuanians were
Good question.
anti-Nazi,
He
even
said-
though we have like this crazy milk jug thing in my house with like a Nazi symbol on the bottom. Because like I think they just like put stuff.
just put that back then,
over,
yeah.
on
Grandpa-
everything, you know.
Her grandpa said, okay,
Yeah, they took
okay,
the swastika
they
symbol from the
lost.
Buddhists
Burn all
anyway.
the clothes, take off the armband.
Yeah. Well, obviously they weren't into it because they left. So.
We're going to pretend to be freedom fighters.
Yeah. And then my grandma always tries to make up this conspiracy theory that my grandpa was a Nazi. I'm like, whatever, grandma.
Sounds theoretically true.
Sorry, Grammy, if you're listening, I love you.
Well, if Grandpa gave you a milk jug with a swastika on it, you might have some unfortunate family history.
Yeah, but
that's like my family. You know, Rupp is, of course, German, but they came from Russia because my great-great-grandfather met a woman in a concentration camp, and then they fled to Russia and in a small Jewish village, and then they came to America. So
I'm still hearing talking.
somewhat Russia,
Dan,
somewhat
you got the
German.
radio on in there.
No, I don't got nothing on
Well,
it.
where's it coming from?
Your computer, I don't know.
His computer's
His
off. and
computer's off.
Unplugged.
Something about Sofia Vergara.
Yeah, it's like another radio station.
Sophia Vergara,
like-
married to my friend Joe.
It's like we're getting KWOW on here.
KWOW.
I used to get KWOW bleeding over on my toaster, man.
it was driving me nuts.
Anything you plugged in the wall, we'd like. the radio
Julia was
station.
talking, but all I could hear was black or white.
No, when I used to have braces and headgear, I'd get all sorts of communications going
Well,
on.
I think it's still going on here.
You must have got hella late in band with the braces and the headgear.
Should we? I mean, you probably get the radio when you walk through a metal detector.
No, I get
There it goes. It's gone.
No, but I like this song, so it's fine.
Anyway, let's.
it's
So-
just background music. It's not
The
like
witches have brought
overpowering.
voices with them.
All right.
So how long has Lithuania been gone?
It's still there. It's a
Still
country.
there?
Yeah. It's
I
a
thought they just
Baltic-
get over and they.
No,
Her
they,
grandparents used to
they're
sob
independent.
uncontrollably on Hitler's birthday, 420. Now, let me ask, first movie you saw on your own, ladies, each one of you.
first movie I ever saw.
Yeah, without your parents.
I have no idea.
Oh, without my parents. Maybe I don't know. That's a weird question.
Mine, I think, was it Signs? Might have
Was
been,
it Signs?
might actually no. I think it might have been. It might have been Pet Cemetery, and it was with my cousins. It wasn't in the movie theater. I don't know the first movie I saw in a movie theater.
Wow.
But my cousins like scary movies.
Pet
And
Sematary
when we
did-
would be at my great grandpa's house, they'd put it on, and they have like their little portable DVD player, their laptop thingy, whatever. And it was one of those two for sure.
What scared you more, the cat, the dead kid, or the flashbacks of the sister in bed?
Oh, the kid, dude.
The
Gage
kid.
Was,
The
Gage,
kid creeped me out.
Wow.
He was so cute, and then I was like, "Oh my god, I never want to have a kid in my life," and it's stuck. I never want to have a kid in my life.
No,
Gage
that kid creeped me
was
out.
So cute, but so
Especially
so
when he
scary.
called you on the phone and asked you to come play. You know.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
scared
I
me.
filtered everything, so there should be no music.
Oh yeah, you did it.
You did it. It
Good
was you all along.
job.
Bravo.
It wasn't me. I had to filter everybody.
It was
so,
you all along, Dan.
Everybody's
Wow,
on.
the last 10 minutes of
I
the
know.
Jeff Sargent
Yeah.
show.
Solved the
Producer
problem.
Dan has finally earned his title. How about you,
50
Sage?
minutes later.
I have no idea. I honestly can't remember what the first
Wow,
movie I've seen
interesting.
is.
I just
Doesn't
like the
stick in
idea
my
that
head.
you two might have been at the same concert as children.
But
Oh,
yeah, we
yeah,
actually
that's
are.
hilarious.
We always call each other musical soulmates. Me and Sage.
We go to concerts together all the time.
Oh.
What's the last concert you two saw together?
We saw it was a
Festival
festival
thing.
called Emo Night Day, and we saw Movements. We saw
It's a bunch of like
musicians
alternative rock.
from other bands that came out and played that. The bands are
Like little
broken up.
all-star jams.
We
Like
saw
little, like
the
little
Used,
affair?
Chiodos, or like people from them.
Under Oath.
Under Oath. I saw a bunch of like rappers that she was not into, so she left.
You don't
I
like
was like,
rappers?
Wicca Face Springs Eternal.
This,
She's like, no.
this was very
Hashtag
strange.
racist.
No, this is
They
white
were white.
people.
It was terrible.
This was
White
not good
rappers,
for
no wonder
rap
she
music.
walked.
I'm into hip hop. This was not hip hop.
Wow.
It wasn't. It's not. It's like
I don't know how to explain
It's
what it was.
like
It sounded awful though.
emo, sad trap music. It's
and no one can sing on key.
no.
Julia
Wait,
could
Pam,
talk you guys
I
into
liked it.
Lithuanian rock bands.
I'm sure she could.
Yeah, I'm like more into like movies and TV. I'm not the biggest like music buff person.
What are you
But
watching
like
now? And
stuff
hold on,
like
what are
we
you
like.
watching on Net-
You like
God.
sci-fi
Oh my God.
fantasy.
What are you watching on Net-
I got excited.
Wait,
all
what?
three,
What?
hold on,
What?
all three of you. What are you watching on Netflix?
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Oh.
I'm watching Godless.
Oh, I hear that's great.
Yeah,
Oh, and
it's
Celia.
good.
Celia.
And I'm
That's really
watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon Prime, and it is really awesome. I
Wait, what's
two
that?
thumbs up.
I heard about that.
Yeah, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It's about a woman whose
She's like a
husband
comedian,
leaves her and
right?
she becomes a stand-up comic like by accident.
Well, that sounds like crap.
It's in the 1950s. It's really cool.
No,
sounds
no,
cute.
no Mindhunters for you guys.
I
Mind-
already finished it. I finished
Isn't
it
that
the
an
first night it
amazing
came
show?
out.
I'm
What show did he
obsessed with it.
Mindhunter. It's about serial
Oh,
killers.
never. I don't like those
Oh.
shows. It
Oh
gives
my
me
God, I
nightmares.
love those
I love those shows.
Because it's too much reality. I like the
so
sci-fi
good.
fantasy kind of thing. I would like to
like
go to
true
someone's
story
house
scary
who has Hulu so I could watch Future Man.
Future
Well,
Man. I
All
hadn't
the
heard of
callers
that.
to ring in with their password and share it.
Share your
Get it.
Hulu
Probably
password.
do
Share
that
your
as soon
Hulu
as I go
password,
and get a new
guys.
We
card
need a
for
Hulu
my.
sponsor.
Yeah.
Seth
You need a
Rogen.
Hulu
Seth
sponsor.
Rogen produces the show
bad
and
idea.
it stars our friend.
Well, Robert Craighead with
was a
Josh
guest on the show.
Hutcherson.
Have you watched Sense8 on Netflix?
I've
That's
been
a really
meaning to
good
do that.
sci-fi show if you're into sci-fi.
I
Have
haven't
y'all
watched.
seen Stranger Things?
Oh, you know what? I haven't yet because
Wow,
every,
I'd like to go.
every woman I know
I'm
wants shit
surprised
about
that you
Stranger
haven't been
Things.
cast on that
It's
or
pretty
had an
fiction.
audition to go on that show.
You know my American Horror Story because
I hate that show.
I love that
They
show.
I
brought me
love
in-
American.
I
Don't be
spent-
scared, Sage.
It's not
you.
scary. It's dumb.
Oh, I have to go.
Oh, the hotel
I
thing
quit.
is great.
Eh.
I'd do
so
anything
good.
to stay at the
That
Hotel
one is actually
Cortez.
inspired by. It's actually inspired by a real hotel in LA, the Cecil
Yes,
Hotel.
yes.
It is, which they had Dark Waters, which came out first, and then they had the Alyssa or Allison
Although Dark
Lamb
Waters-
story.
Dark Waters was a remake of a Japanese movie.
It was. It
Yeah.
was. A lot of the best scary movies are The Eye, Jessica
Wow.
Alba. It
The
was-
Alba
no,
remake. The Alba remake of the Pang Brothers, The Eye, is pretty good.
It's okay. I like
yeah,
the
I like the original
better.
better.
It's more gory
Original-
and
I mean,
That
he
was-
sat on his
it's a
doorbell
creepy
button.
sound too.
But no,
Who's here?
Another
get the
haunted
door,
hotel
Jeff.
downtown is the Hotel Alexandria.
Yeah.
That's a great.
I haven't heard as much about that one as I heard of Cecil. So what do
The
you
Cecil
wanna
is supposed to. Yeah,
tell us about it?
the Cecil is supposed to be creepy as hell.
Oh, dude, yeah. Richard Ramirez stayed there when he was Night Stalker, dude.
Okay, you know what?
Ugh.
There's a
I
hotel.
wanted to stay there for my birthday, but
There's a hotel in Sacramento.
Okay.
There's a Greyhound bus station, and next to the Greyhound bus station, there's this big, ugly hotel, and that was the hotel the Unabomber used to stay in, because he would take the bus down from Oregon to mail his letters to throw off the FBI.
Yeah. Whoa.
And when Richard Ramirez, when they were closing in Ramirez, he took a bus up to Northern California where he killed a family up here. He killed an Asian guy named Peter Pan in a really terrible, terrible way. And he stayed at the same hotel that the Unabomber did. And so in Sacramento,
Oh.
they would call it the Evil Hotel, and there were all these black birds.
Oh,
hanging out at the
crows.
hotel,
Those
yeah.
ones are like they bring death.
Yeah,
They
it
bring
literally.
death.
They had all these ugly black crows at this hotel with all this terrible history on it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's like the Hotel Del Coronado in San Diego.
which is where they shot the stuntman.
Yeah, that's where we stayed at one night. for,
Coronado Brewing has their
But
little thing.
it's
there.
about time
Wow.
to say
Coronado
goodbye
Brewing.
to the Jeff Sargent Show.
8:57.
Okay, this is the last plug.
We need our lovely brew witches to plug
our
like they
brew
never
witches.
plugged before.
Jeff's
Well-
taking my job. He's doing my dirty work. Thank
Well,
you, Jeff.
Once again, my name is Julia,
And I'm Destiny.
And I'm Sage.
and we're the co-founders of the Inland
oh.
Empire.
So we're gonna do that all together.
Sing song.
Oh, you want to do it? I.E. Brew Witches. We should, yeah.
so
hot.
Hold on, that was so hot. We have to ask you three to do it again.
We have to do it again?
Yes.
Do it
Okay,
again.
I'm Julia,
I'm Destiny.
And I'm Sage.
That's
and
hot.
we're the
I.E. Brew Witches.
Oh.
All right. Thank you for being on the Jeff Sargent
My
Show.
teeth hurt from
Thank
such
you
cuteness.
guys. Thank you guys for
Thank you,
having
Brew
Instagram
us.
and
Witches. You
Facebook.
honored us with your
Follow
presence.
us on
Or we'll hex
Instagram
you.
Follow them on
Oh.
Instagram.
You've already put a spell on us.
at I.E. Brew Witches. And come to our meetup tonight at Laverne Brewing in Laverne.
And January 27th, our art event at Strum. Come
Now it's
support your
time for a
local witches
promotion
ovaries.
photo.
And by the way, hold on. We got like 1 minute left. By the way, after the show, if you're tuning in late and you love the Brew Witches, for the next 2 hours, you can hear them again.
Ah. So I
Yeah,
can go
Yes.
and like
the
listen to
show is
myself.
going to repeat
We-
from
You could listen
Listen,
to the
9
whole
to
show.
11. So
9
it's,
to 11, as producer
It's
Dan
on
said.
YouTube, right? You
Yes,
like, we want
ma'am.
to watch it again?
And
So I
you
can
do
go home
on
and listen to
YouTube and
myself?
watch it whenever
can.
you're convenient.
You can go home and listen
Destiny.
to yourself, Destiny. You
Embarrassing.
are your own destiny.
As soon as it passes the censors, I will post it on my Facebook, and Jeff will post it on his.
Oh, so I could
And
have
by
cussed
the
He'll
way-
this
post
whole
it on
time.
his Facebook.
By the way, 3 enchanting women with us in the studio and not one swear word. So
I was thinking about it, but I was like, I have to hold it back.
Wow.
I have to
Girl,
hold
This
it back
is an
myself. I
uncensored,
don't know if
no
it charges
holds
you
barred
guys.
radio show.
You should have told us 2 hours ago.
Son
Like
of a
I
bitch.
said,
I think
Fuck
because
yeah.
I think because
Get out of
Kathleen
radio.
was listening. Julia tuned down her potty mouth.
She did,
Yeah.
for
It's
sure.
fucking
We all
chaotic
did.
radio.
I,
So, fuck it.
I never.
We have 30 seconds.
So,
Let's just.
Thank you for consorting with us, Brew Witches.
Hey, thanks
Thank
guys for
you
having
for having
us.
And
Oh.
good luck with your gig today. Where's the gig again? One last time?
Laverne Brewing. It's right by the Fairplex. It's really awesome.
7 p.m.
January 27th. It's a Saturday at Strum Brewing. Come out and support
Your
our-
local witches ovaries.
Yeah.
Get over there,
Where's
ladies.
Strum
7
Brewing?
p.m.
Where's Strum
tonight.
Brewing?
Get your
Ontario,
ass
California.
over
I
there.
think we can come there and drink with the Brew Witches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Drink
thank
for a
you,
good
ladies,
cause.
for
Yes, represent.
27th, Strum,
Okay.
Ontario.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Jeff
Good
Sargent Show,
day.
producer
We
Dan
will
the Man Ruff, and myself, thank you so much.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Booyah.
Okay. Now it's time to have a photo session.
That was
Lovely
fun.
ladies, Enchantresses
crap,
up against the logo.
Okay, Julia, you have never taken a